Hi, today I'm going to talk to you about getting started with your Schoology classroom. So when you first get your class for Schoology, it kind of looks like this. When you open it up, it's very empty. It does, however, give you a little bit of a hint of what you're supposed to do. It says to get your course up and running by adding and organizing your materials. And then there's the little, in kind of muted font, it says to add your materials to your course, click the Add Materials drop-down menu. You can organize your materials by dragging and dropping materials to reorder them and use folders to organize units and lessons. So you can kind of move things around once they're in there. Now my class is empty, but if I wanted to, I could add materials. Because I've taught in Schoology last year, I could go to my import from resources and I could bring in folders from last year. Now I teach math, so my classes are organized by units, but if you wanted to, you could add by week 1. You could, depending on your grade level and your thought process, you could do week 1 is, in my school, we are going to be September 8 to September 11th, and I could have that, and then I could have the date that I want it to be open would be September 8th to make it available. And then published, I could publish on a start date. I could publish during a date range if I only want it open for so long. Like if after September 11th I don't want them to see it so that they're not confused on where to go, I can publish during a date range. Unpublish, publish. So you can choose. So I'm going to actually do publish during a date range. So then I would maybe want them to end, maybe we'll do the 14th so that they can get all of their assignments in for the next week. Or actually, let's do it on the 13th. And maybe I want it to, I'll end them at 11:59 p.m. and we will start at 7 a.m. on the 8th. So there's my folder. Now it pops up like that and it's kind of empty. Maybe then once I'm in there, I want to add a folder for Monday. It is automatically going to be unpublished because your whole week is unpublished. So once you publish the week, everything in that folder will become published. You can change the color. Maybe you want to assign a different color for every day of the week. I'm actually just remembering that 8th is a Tuesday. So the 8th is a Tuesday. So my first day can't be Monday, it has to be Tuesday. So no problem. I'm just getting started. I can do Tuesday. So I have Tuesday, Wednesday. I'm going to add a Thursday. And I'll make it blue. Actually, I'll make it green. Because my original folder was blue. If you want to color code, you can do your color coding. I do color coding in my units. And I'll show you that in a minute. We'll just do Friday. You can choose to publish those on dates. If you notice, I kind of ignored that. Maybe I would have caught Tuesday if I had said publish on a date and did September 8th. And now if I do this, then when my overall folder publishes, these won't publish until the actual day that they're due. This way, you can kind of really control what your students see if you don't want them to see things that ahead of time. And just because I can't seem to stop myself, I'm going to do this as the 12th. Or the 11th. And I miss this being the 10th. Alright, that's what happens. Now the automatic time that it defaulted to was 12 a.m. at the beginning. If you wanted them to wait until 8 a.m., it's fine. You can set it, you can change your settings to whatever works for you. Now within each folder, depending on what you teach, you can put the assignments for that day, the materials for that day, or whatnot. So I'm going to take you over to my algebra class and show you. I teach by unit. So I have Unit 1 is a review, and actually I have a pre-test for it. The students work, it's an independent topic, but I have a pre-assessment, I have a crossword puzzle, and then I have each section. So in each section for my unit, I have videos, notes, and then I have assignments. Now you could make a third folder for assignments and put them all in there. I had done that at one point and then didn't really like that. And then I keep the answer keys with the assignment. This way, if I want the students to see the answers, I can just go in and publish it, and it's right where they found their homework. So I tend to, my course is set up in much the same way a textbook would be set up, in that it has the topics in order and then kind of an outline. You can change the colors. In some of my classes, my videos and notes folders are green. Looks like in my Algebra 2, I just stuck with everything being blue. You can change whatever you want. And you can have all kinds of assessments. Down here I have Unit 1 Algebra 1 assessment, and then I have a Chapter 1 assessment outside of it, so kind of like the pre and post tests. So you'll set your course up however you would like, but that is the very first thing you need to decide. You need to decide how you're going to set up your course, whether you're going to outline it by weeks or whether you want to do it by units, and it's going to be on what works best for you and your students. There's not one right way to do this. Now, something else to keep in mind is as you go through these, and I go through all of these folders, at the top there's breadcrumbs. So I'm now on Tuesday in week 1, which is in my course. If I want to just go back to the folder, I can go back to week 1, or I go back to my materials page to get to my total course. I can always click back to materials. I can also click materials here, and if I had multiple folders, so if I wanted to add a folder, say week 2, and have it be September 14th to the 18th, published during a date range. Now I can check my dates here. As well. I don't have a calendar on my desk. So now when I'm on materials, it also, the little drop down menu, there's the 2 weeks. If I want, I can click there as another way of navigating my classroom. So that's how you want to start. Like, it really is important to decide on the layout and the design of your class. Keep it simple. Do what's best, especially if it's your first time using a Schoology class. Don't worry about doing all the fluff and a lot of the colorful things that you're seeing on the internet. Keep it simple, because your kids are learning to navigate something new as well, and simple is going to be what's best. You can always make things more colorful as the year progresses and you get your comfort level. So some other things about the classroom: course options. There's a send message, so if you wanted to send a message to your entire class, you could send a message from here. You could edit the info from here. You could edit privacy and course settings. You could look at your external tool providers. You could moderate your posts here, and you can look at your recycle bin. So if I wanted to go to my edit info, now I'm not changing anything because our tech department does such a fabulous job on doing all this. I don't like to touch any of it. But here it is. I can click advanced. It doesn't really give me a whole lot of other things, but I can see my section school code number. I can add a section, others. I tend to not touch any of this, but just kind of walking you through it. I would recommend maybe you not touching it either, so as not to, especially if you're syncing with something, a school program like PowerSchool or Skyward or something else. You can set your privacy. And like I said, I leave everything to that. Now, the one thing you could change if you wanted is this default landing page. You can either have your students default and land on the materials, or if you wanted to force them to see your updates every day, you could require them to, you can change that to updates. And then when they log into the class, the first thing they're going to do is go to that update page, and they're going to see your daily or weekly announcements. So I can make that change as well. This tells me the external tools. We have a CK12 app and an EduPuzzle. I can add an external tool provider if I had one that I wanted to add, and this is where I would go to do that. I don't do these at all in my class, so I don't actually know what SCORM settings is. I have no discussion boards, so I don't have anything there. However, if I did have discussion board posts in there and the students made posts and then they deleted them in the discussion board, but I could see what they deleted and wrote right here. So anything deleted in the course is really never truly deleted. It just comes back to here. And you can enable moderation, and here's your recycle bin. So when you delete something by accident, you can check to see if it's in your recycle bin, that maybe you could restore it, just in case. All right, before you start trying to recreate it, it does give you a place to go to look to see if it's there first, and then you could restore it. So there is the getting started with your Schoology. I do have videos that go through all of the other parts. Your updates is your announcements, your grade book. There are no grades, and I'm the only student. I'm not even a student, so I don't even have anything in here because I have no members. You can set up your grades. If you are doing standards-based grading, you can set up the ability to set learning objectives and mastery learning. You can do badges for perfect attendance, all right, for your students for completing homework, whatever. You can even add ones if you have ones that you would like to add for your class. So attendance, you can take attendance in the class daily, kind of helpful. You can see your members here. Under members, you can also send messages. You can assign roles. I can't send a message to myself, so it's not popping up there. Analytics, you can look at the how much time was spent on an assignment, last course material that they accessed, when was the last time your student was in the Schoology class, lots of things that you can check, historical data and more. So these are things for you to check out on your own, just kind of giving you the brief overline. Workload planning. So total students above the minimum, can kind of give you some more data. Conferences, EduPuzzle, PowerSchool. For students, once you have assignments in, something to keep in mind, that once you make an assignment and you set a date to it, it says up and coming. So whenever the students are on the materials, or even the updates, so if they're in updates or materials, it says up and coming, and it has the events there. And you can add an event by just clicking it there so that you can add something to the student's calendar. The only disadvantage to that is once the assignment is completed at the end of the day, when the assignment is now considered late, it's no longer in the up and coming. The way the students would actually see to find out they're missing assignments or anything like that is, I'm going to view the course as Mary Vermillion. She would look under her grade. We don't have grades for this class. So she would have a grade book option here, and then she could go there to look for her missing assignments if she wanted to do that. So just some things to kind of keep in mind. If you have specific questions and you need an answer or need some help or guidance, send me an email. Otherwise, happy creating.